Chicago is
a very large urban city. It's
a great international city.
Beautiful.
It's home.
Full of lots of opportunities and challenges.
There's a lot of culture here.
My favorite city that I've ever been to.
Diverse.
Interesting, tough. This is thought of as a tough city. The way people do business, the way they do politics is sort of, bare fist, tough kind of way that they live their lives here.
But it is extremely segregated. I grew up on the south side and went to high school even further south, and I had classmates that had never ventured past 8700 South. So they had never gone downtown before. Ever. Ever.
And it seems to be more and more about the money. That may have always been the case. What does money mean to me? Wow, that's a philosophical question. Money is currency that buys you what you need, and if you have enough of it, what you want. It could come in any kind of form.
Money is a way that we have to exchange for goods and services. It's a medium of exchange. It's a thing that can be very useful in society, enabling businesses to be successful and people to be able to obtain the things that they need or want in their lives.
One of the reasons why everyone, why you go to work, why you go to school, to make more money so that you can do what it is you want to do, So I want to make $100,000 a year so that I don't have to worry about X, Y, Z. So I think in the grand scheme of things, to have money means I'm free to do the things that make me happy. Money doesn't make you happy, but it allows you the opportunity to do those things that do make you happy. So it's freedom.
At the city level, it starts with, what do you expect a city to do? The basic things are policing, garbage pickup, functioning streets.
But I worry about us trying to balance the budget on the people who are least able, to have those kinds of things. It looks to me like a lot of their services are very badly needed, and therefore I would like for us not to cut out essential services.
The symbolism of closing libraries or restricting access to libraries really troubles people. It's sending the wrong message. He would say that that's a mischaracterization of his position. He would say he didn't want to close libraries, that he felt that he had to make the tough choices.
It makes it more difficult for kids to actually go and do the research they need to do, So one of the good things about having the libraries open at late hours and things like that, and on other days of the week rather than just weekdays, it helps the kids to be able to get access to the library. Well, if you close it during those times, then I think some people who are in greatest need of being there, they're not able to take advantage of the libraries because they're closed at that particular time.
My garbage budget will come down if you do what you're supposed to too. So we don't have to pay people to walk up and down the street, sweeping the streets, picking up garbage off the sidewalk. On the way down this morning, I was waiting for the train, the red line, and some guy sitting next to me waiting, he takes a drink out of his energy drink and then he just throws the can over his shoulder onto the tracks. And I didn't say anything because I didn't really feel like getting in a fight right then, but that really pisses me off. Why should we pay someone? Throw your stuff out.
I think right now most businesses are in fact doing pretty well in Chicago.
I haven't seen a ton of businesses close, so but I haven't seen anything new open. And so what I would want from my neighborhood is there to be an influx of new businesses. There are plenty of beauty salons. There are plenty of hair care product places. There are plenty of fast food restaurants. There does not need to be any place else to get your hair cut, to get the clippers to get your hair cut, or to get a hamburger while you're waiting to get your hair cut. It's unnecessary. Susie Q decides, this is the perfect time to buy, and I've bought my own property, and now I think that I'm going to buy a couple other properties because the interest rates are low. I can get this adjustable rate mortgage where it's only, 3 or 4%, and 5 years is going to go up. By that time, I can flip it and get rid of it. Well, 5 years comes, and now the market has burst. and so I can no longer sell the property as quickly, or I can't get a lower interest rate. And so what happens to Susie Q? Susie Q ends up going into foreclosure on that property. So now Susie Q's credit has, it's now hurt. She's gone to foreclosure. When she tries to, say Susie Q's car dies and she needs to buy a new car, but now Susie Q can't. Why? Because her credit isn't that good. So the money that she would have been able to pay to help the car dealer now can't get paid. So now the car dealer is affected because people aren't buying cars as much anymore.
There are these piggy banks, these pension funds that we as taxpayers theoretically are paying into every year, and that's to cover the cost of the services. Specifically, it's the way that the government is run here. It's the number of people who are hired and the things we agree to pay them, both currently in terms of their salaries and in the future in terms of their benefits. People who are pissed off because their benefits, their wages, or maybe their jobs entirely have been cut. Public safety. There are approximately 11,000 police officers in the city of Chicago. There are also several thousand support people in the Chicago Police Department. We not only pay their salaries now, but as one of the reasons you agree to be a cop is because you're going to have a retirement. You work 20, 25, 30 years, whatever it is, and at a certain point in time, you get to retire and you still get an income paid for by the taxpayers. That's part of the compensation package we agree to. We have not been paying into these funds to an adequate level. If everyone right now retired, who's able to retire, goes ahead and retires, we don't have the money to pay for their retirement, and we should make sure everybody's compensated, because otherwise, people are going to want to work for rich districts because they make more money. Oh, wait a second, that's already happening. Anyway.
Education would be one of those areas where we really ought to invest more, not only at the high school level, but also at the junior college level.
Public schools, where I work and where I spend most of my time, have been taking a hit. They've been losing funding. Some opportunities aren't being presented to them because of diminished funding. Class sizes are larger, a lot of programs, extra programs don't exist. You're really providing just the basics. And when you cut those things, you're harming kids and you're harming their future.
I know that the city is beginning to take some steps in order to raise revenue by installing cameras and things like that at schools and parks and things like that to try to generate additional revenue.
It's a great city. You really can't afford to get cynical about politics, but I think everyone should be knowledgeable about politics. You don't have to be someone who's sitting there like, did you hear what Alderman so-and-so said, or what Representative so-and-so said? You don't have to get in the weeds, but on a basic level, like, why wouldn't you as a taxpayer want to know how your money is spent? And I think that a lot of times people, either they're too busy to pay attention, they think it's boring, or it just seems so complicated they're embarrassed to ask. I think people need to keep asking questions.